we'll have a couple videos from that in this segment. All right. Up next, here we go. Speaking of which, this was from End Wokeness there on X. Couple videos here. One of them here is Kamala was saying Trump will use the Department of Justice to target his opponents. Really? I think that's exactly what the other side has been doing. And now they're trying to say he would do it? Well, I mean, good Lord, he told everybody that, all these people was going to go to jail back in 15 when he was running for the presidency, and nobody went to jail. So did he target anybody? I don't think so. I think he just was a president. He had somewhat of a decent economy, and he did things normally. And what we've had these last few years has been anything but that. So dictators do that. Well, no kidding, Kamala. And I think that's your party. Let's listen to what she has to say.
Donald Trump would go into the Department of Justice and manipulate it in such a way that it would be used as a weapon against his political enemies.
Yeah, he's going to lock y'all up if he gets back in office.
Well, by the way, you should look at his words. I don't think that you as a journalist should feel so sure that
100%. I'm out of here.
Journalists, judges, others. And you know who does that? Dictators do that. Other countries do that.
I don't know. Let me see this interview. I don't know if I can get a good shot of her ear.
Would go into the Department of Justice and manipulate it.
I'm noticing she's always wearing the same earrings. Has anybody else noticed that? Oh, I think in this one we'll actually see it. This is from a different angle. And this is Kamala also saying that I am considering a plan to force U.S. taxpayers to pay reparations. Oh, my gosh. It's like we're already taxed enough.
So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that.
Here we go.
Well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother, worked hard, raised me and my sister. And by the time I was in high school, she was able to afford our first home. I know what it means for an individual and a family to have home ownership. I also know, in the context of history, nobody got 40 acres and a mule. So,
all right, so obviously she is wearing the same earrings as she always does. I don't know. There's something to that. Maybe she is getting fed lines or whatever, but whoever's giving her lines ain't very good at it either. But there you go. She is not committing to doing the reparations. It needs to be studied, and I've been clear on that. Well, that doesn't sound like you're very clear on that. So whatever. I mean, we'll see what happens. 4 years of her, I don't know if we could stand it. Oh boy, I had to post this too. I wanted to put this up here. Look what filters can do for you people. All you people out there that's using filters, come on now. Come on. Just look at this. Just look at this. That's what filters do for you. Well, if you're going to lie, you might as well lie about what you look like. Kamala Harris to black men in Detroit. You may not know this, but you would appreciate this. So, if you ever watch Charlie Kirk, he always asks these questions of Kamala supporters. Name one accomplishment that Kamala has done. And they always have a hard time giving a answer to that question. I'm going to show you right here, right now, that Kamala has an accomplishment. Listen to what it is.
So you may not know, but you will appreciate. I'm the first vice president to grow chili peppers at the vice president.
Okay.
Wow.
Including Scotch bonnet peppers. Come on now.
Real heat. Real science. They don't know nothing about the
that's hotter, that habanero Scotch bonnet.
Hottest pepper known to man.
Exactly.
I have no problem with it.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, you learn something new every day. She's the first vice president to grow chili peppers. That's her accomplishment, Charlie. Charlie Kirk, the next time you ask that question, keep that in mind that she grows chili peppers, and no other vice president has ever done that. Defiant L here says, funny how that works. California's new law against election deepfakes blocked by a judge over free speech worries. So, you should be able to come on, say the things, and Newsom has been really, really hard trying to get this through to where he can control speech. So what he and they and his party want to claim as misinformation, they should be able to haul down all these sites and stuff if people are actually doing stuff and reporting things that they don't feel like is truthful from their point of view. So he wants to be able to block it, but apparently a judge is trying to allow free speech. But notice what Gavin said. The GOP have become the party that opposes free speeches and free markets. No, Mr. Newsom, you are the one who wants to control free speech. It's in your narrative to do so because, the bigger lie you can tell, the better off you guys are. Right below this, Defiant also had on there about Alyssa Milano doing a poll that said, will you be doing the thing, the shot for your 5 to 11-year-old children? Look at the numbers, guys. Look at the numbers. 91% says never. Never. Good for them. All right. End wokeness. Oh, I like what Megan Kelly said right above. I don't know if you can see it or not. This says Brett is crushing this, and she is incapable of defending her deadly border policies. And that's we'll see a little bit of that here in a little bit when I show some of these videos, these little clips from that interview. And Megan was commenting about that same time that was going on. But anyways, here in wokeness, it says here South American gangs are now starting to target suburban homes.
Last week, Sheriff Michael Bouchard said as many as 4 homes were burglarized throughout the county. And now Bloomfield Township police say homes were hit there too.
Community really is that extra set of eyes that we need in order to solve these cases.
Police believe the burglars come from South America, responsible for a number of upscale burglaries over the last 2 years that struck affluent homes in Bloomfield Township, Bloomfield Hills, Grosse Pointe Farms, Rochester, and Rochester Hills. And they've netted millions in cash and jewelry. In December, Attorney General Dana Nessel charged 3 Chilean nationals for their roles in the break-ins.
This group is very active across the country, and they are very, they adapt to law enforcement techniques.
Bloomfield Township Police Chief James Gallagher says the burglars have targeted the same kinds of homes.
A lot of them are wooded areas, that closer to main roads, golf courses, things of that nature, where individuals could discreetly enter a property without being seen by other neighbors.
The break-in is both sophisticated and old-fashioned. The burglars often enter after throwing a brick through a back window, but they've been known to use jamming equipment to disable security systems. And they move quickly. Police responded to one of the burglarized homes this weekend in under 2 minutes. The burglars were already gone.
Jewelry, high-end handbags, are the typical safes are what they're targeting.
Police say the most important thing they can do right now is get the word.
So South American gangs are where'd they come from? How did they get here? But yet here they are, and we've got it right here in the news talking about how they're attacking these suburban homes now. Coming to a neighborhood near you. Hopefully not, but apparently this is their goal. And once again, last days, perilous times shall come, and that's where we're at. This is just evidence of these videos. I like doing the end time reports because that's what we're here to do, is to expose what is happening on the current events and the things that should be talked about, shown, and not suppressed by the left side of the media. All right, Illuminati bot here. I like this thing here. Does printing money cause inflation? What's inflation? Hey, you're hired. European Central Bank. That's what they like to do. They like to, they've been doing nothing but nonstop printing of money. We've been doing it since '08. We'll talk about that at the end of the show here with the U.S. debt clock, like we always end every show with. And it's, it's what happens. It's why you see all your devaluation of your dollar. I think it's another step of trying to destroy this country from within. Your buying power has gone way, way, way down. And I think a lot of people are feeling that. And the only way you can get out of stopping inflation is you got to shut off the printing presses. You got to raise those interest rates. I know a lot of people ain't a big fan of that, but it's the only way you can protect the value of your dollar. I know Volcker, he wasn't well liked for what he did in the 70s, but it stopped it, and he gave us a good 1980s where the economy grew. But you got to stop the inflation. Inflation is bad, and once born, it's hard to stop. Yeah, this is Illuminati bot again, and I thought this was kind of interesting. If the government really cared about the opioid epidemic in America, these guys, these troops, would be carrying flamethrowers. Now, where are they at? Well, I can tell you where they're at. Those are poppy fields. And one of the main things that we did in the Afghan war when we first started this back in 01, 02, the first thing they did was the Taliban had shut down all of the poppy fields in Afghanistan, and our government decided to reopen those. There's a lot of speculation of what takes place and how how certain alphabet agencies are involved with help manufacturing this stuff and getting it into this country. But without this, you can't have those. So we should be getting rid of it, but it seems like nobody really cares. And there's a lot of people that are stuck on that. It's a shame. Oh, this is wrong. That's all I'm going to say about this. Just watch and judge for yourself. Oh, by the way, please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps the algorithm and everything. It helps us. So we're just, like you said, we've only been doing this about a month now. We're gaining a lot of support and stuff, and we'd like to continue that, and we'd like to grow this channel to something bigger. Okay, here we go.
Okay, Grandma, do you want to vote for the first black woman president ever?
Yeah.
Okay, she's a Democrat too. Okay, so I'll show you where to write. Keep the pen in your hand, and it's right here.
Is this legal?
Good job, Grandma. You got to vote for the first woman president.
Harris.
Kamala Harris.
I'm just going to leave that there, let you guys judge for yourself what you think. I don't know. I just don't seem right. I mean, yeah, her hand was on the pen. She did say yes, but I'll let you decide. All right. Let's go to the next video here. Oh, well, this ain't a video. This is an actual thing. I like this. The biggest cancers of society. That ain't no lie. Klaus Schwab, I mean, this guy, if anybody would look like a Bond villain, this guy is that. He's got the perfect accent. Some of the pictures you could pull up on him on the internet where he's wearing some wild clothes. I could just see him go, I could hear Bond saying, "Do you expect me to talk?" "No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die." He's just got that look about him, he's like Goldfinger. Of course, Gates and this guy here, I don't want to talk about, but they're actually major WEF. Of course, he's been supporting the left side for years, and this guy here, he's done everything. He's buying up land too. We ought to be taking note of that. All the land he's buying in the United States ought to be a warning sign. I think I got this video up somewhere else on this, but I'm going to go ahead and play it here. Who do you think this guy's voting for? I'll blow it up so you can see. Nice throw, kid. Nice throw. Try again. Yeah. Nothing like getting laughed at by the girl. Let's see if we can find This is the girl. Oh, there you go. Perfect shot, dude. Boy, I might. Illuminati bot also again here. Be careful not to spread fake news. That's what Gavin Newsom's trying to tell everybody. Leave that to the professionals. Now, he wouldn't say that, but there's your professionals. There's your favorite, all your misinformation groups right there. You know, like I said, I used to be a really big conspiracy theorist back in the day, and, 9/11, Kennedy conspiracies, all that. And today on YouTube, you can't even hardly find these videos or people talking about it because it's being suppressed so much. And if you typed in something about 9/11, you get all of these people here. That's what you see, the people reporting on it, telling you what you should know, not what you want to know. But they're definitely trying to control that narrative. All right. Let's go. Okay, Illuminati bot again. This video.
With what just happened with Simply Orange, this should send shockwaves through the consumer market. So Simply Orange is owned by Coca-Cola, and here's what they just got caught doing. Now you may think with the slick branding that this is just simply orange juice, and it's not from concentrate, so that's good, right? The problem is oranges are on the dirty dozen, which means they're part of the 12 fruits and vegetables that are the most sprayed with pesticides and herbicides. So right off the bat, since it's not organic, you're getting doses of chemicals, pesticides, but that's not what this controversy is about. And it's not about the synthetic vitamins that they put in here either. Coca-Cola, the parent company, has now been sued because of high levels of toxic forever chemicals that are found in Simply Orange juice. Forever chemicals, also known as PFAS chemicals, is basically what's used to coat a non-stick pan, which we know there's many documentaries about the extreme damaging effects of these chemicals on the human body. So my guess is that their entire factory uses Teflon non-stick material, and that's how hundreds of times, look at this, hundreds of times above federal limits for drinking water. So they're getting sued because they say, made simply orange, it's just simply oranges, and yet it has hundreds of times of a neurotoxic, DNA damaging chemical in it. Let me know in the comments with what just happened with Simply Orange.
So they're getting sued with what they're doing. There's a movie with Mark Ruffalo talking about, I think it was going on about the Teflon industry and what they've done, the non-stick pans and all that. And apparently it's showing up in this juice, and they're getting sued for it. I mean, I don't think that the what we eat and drink is really good for us anymore. I know high fructose corn syrup is one of the worst things we could actually be taking into our bodies. We get a lot of that into our soft drinks and a lot of our foods. The one thing I never did understand was I was talking to a person who was going to college, going to university for the GMOs and genetically modified, and it was like a biology degree that she was getting. And I was asking her, I said, do you think GMOs are great? She goes, yes, they're absolutely wonderful. And I'm like, then why would the industry be fighting that, in Congress about having GMO labels on food? I mean, you got to ask that question. If they're supposed to be so good for you, wouldn't you be proudly wanting to slap those labels onto your food? That's the thing. I don't think they're good for you. I think anything genetically modified is not good for us at all. I think what God meant for us is what we should be putting in our body and following His rules and His beliefs. If I had the money and I had my own farm, I'd definitely be doing that. But sometimes we just can't help to do what we're limited with. So, all right, let's get off of him and let's go to the next video. Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy right there. I'll show it one more time. Yeah, nice throw, kid. Nice throw. And let's not forget, we got her laughing. So, nothing like getting laughed at. All right. I said we would possibly get into this where we were going to talk about some of this little bit of interview that took place with Kamala. And this is one of the spots here. It says the so-called border bill, which was a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is from Elon, by the way. Has nothing to do with the 90-plus open border executive orders of the Biden-Harris administration. And Geiger Capital wrote, "This is brutal, absolutely brutal. Brett Baier finally pushes Kamala Harris on the open border and illegal immigration." So let's get into this and see what it's all about.
Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Brett,
those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that. There's no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock trying to hold it all together.
Madam Vice President.
To ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Brett.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungari's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days.
Look at her look on her
so
face.
do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I am so sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in all fairness, I told you, I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration, even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist, they will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Well,
that's how this system works.
That's the premise of this question. There were 90-plus executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talked to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it.
She gets it, and she's sorry, and she feels it, but she ain't got no excuse for what has happened. She's got nothing, guys. Absolutely zero, and you heard it right out of her own mouth. 90-plus executive orders rescinded by the that Trump had put in, and it was, as posted here, it was talking about that. 90-plus. This interview was absolutely brutal. Brutal. This did nothing for her campaign. It destroyed it pretty much. If anybody that has an ear, let them hear. Look at this. This person here is, she's, oh Lord. I think I got another one here. Listen to this one.
Frankly, exhausted of Brett.
More than
people
70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But
people
you're the
have
lever of
become.
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me.
I want to stop that for a second, guys. Notice when you see the blinking of eyes, it's almost like almost a figurative way of getting punched in the face. And it's the flutter. It's the flutter. Like, I just got, look what, when he hits her right about here, watch her eyes, and oh my God, you're getting told pretty much 80% of the people think you stink, and you're responsible for it. What's your answer? Come on. That's all she can do is go, come on. Really? Great comeback. Listen, watch her eyes though.
Listen. Over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, frankly, exhausted of Brett.
More than
people
70% of people tell.
Yeah, let's get her. I think right about here.
People have become. But
look, there it is.
Listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage.
Ma'am, I think the 80% should be clear to you, and I don't think you see it, but I think you're going to feel it. I think people are tired of it. You're hitting them in their wallets. You're letting these South American people in. We've got issues with that. I just showed you. Who's responsible for all that? Who's allowed all that to be happening? Who's been on watch this whole time? You? And the only thing you could tell me, according to the videos we've been watching so far, is that you grew some chili peppers and you're the first vice president to ever do that. Great accomplishment there, Kamala. I feel like you're going to do strong in the polls. About the only thing you're going to pull in is going to be a woke mob. That's all you're going to get. I don't believe, honestly, there has to be that many people. I mean, there's a lot of people today that are in the woke arena, but I don't think it as much as what we think there is. And this might be a really major landslide. I don't know. We'll see. We're only about we're just a few weeks away, guys. I mean, just a few weeks. All right, I like this little video. This is from Defiant L. Let's play it.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes.
So no's your final answer? You wouldn't done anything different. And all you could do is offer those people in that one video that you're sorry that, over people come across the catch and release. Here you go. The adventures of the guy who started paying attention. It's as if all these useless sports statistics, celebrity gossip, and trivial news stories are meant to be some kind of distraction. And they are. All of this is a distraction. Celebrity gossip. I know people can tell you exactly who is with who in Hollywood, but they couldn't tell you anything about where certain countries are. They couldn't tell you anything about certain policies. Some of the people, they couldn't even tell you who the vice president even is right at this moment. And they're voting like they don't know who the vice president is right at this moment. We got to keep our eye as Americans. I don't care what party you're in. Really, I don't. I'm conservative believing, but I lean right in the I'm lean conservatively, but I'm what they call a libertarian. I believe more like in the Ron Paul ways. And I'm telling you right now, I'm first and foremost an American, and I think the two most important documents we've ever had is the Bible and our Constitution. And a lot of people don't even know anything about either one of those two documents. And the reason why is because they're focused on their sports teams. Yeah, I got a sports jersey on, but you know what? That hasn't stopped me from being informed. People tell me all the time they don't have time to do all this stuff or to pay attention. No, it's just they want to stick their head in the ground and don't even want to know these things. You got to want to know. So I can tell you how certain sports teams are doing. I don't really know nothing about too much about the celebrity thing, except the stuff that's going on with P. Diddy. And that's a big travesty. It's starting to make that island issue with Epstein look like a, really minute. And, trivial news stories. Let's see here. Income tax here. Listen to this. Income tax. You worked and someone paid you. I'll need to take 30 to 50% of that. I think the federal income tax day is somewhere in June, where June or July now, where you start now working for yourself, where the first part of the year you actually work for the government by paying them taxes. Think about that for a moment. Sales tax. Oh, you would like to spend some of the income we let you keep on goods? I'll have to charge you an extra 5 to 10% for that. Oh, you managed to save up enough money to get yourself a little property better than paying rent? Well, you would need to fork over a couple thousand for that privilege. Again, a tax, property tax. Capital gains. Oh, you invested in your 401k to avoid taxes? While we thank you for putting your money into our financial casino, we will unfortunately have to take 30% of your gains. An inheritance tax. You lived a good life, Anon, and you made it to the end. You've worked hard and saved some money to give it to your kids. But we will need to take a piece of that too for the good of society. Rest in peace, Anon. So we're taxed on everything that we do in this country. I don't even care if you have too many yard sales. You're going to get taxed for that. And people were wanting to get us into a digital dollar. We need to be worried about what's coming. That's what they're trying to do, and I'm telling you, that's where they're going to control every aspect of you. If they want to shut off your account and control you, they can do that once you go to a digital means. It's not a good thing. Cash is still the way to go. It's the way that you still have freedom. It's the way you can be able to do and know what you do, not without having the government knowing exactly every move that you make. And I've tried to been preaching that to people for a long time, but we all got into it. I use debit cards. I think everybody is some form of fashion or is using those things. So it's happened to the people that are in the know, but you're kind of forced into it. And I wish we would have stayed with payroll checks, and you had to go to the bank to get them cashed. I wish we still doing that. I guess some people are, but most everything's digital now. Here's a scary thought. If everybody decided to go take their money out of their accounts, if they got anything in their accounts after these last 4 years, the banks couldn't supply the money. They would have to shut down because they could not give you cash because it's mostly it's really a high percentage of how much of it's just digital now. So this little news report we need to keep an eye on this. This is where NATO will not be intimidated by Russia's threats. This is all about wanting NATO is wanting to try to get the Ukraine into NATO, and Russia's not going to allow that. I think we're really starting to brew upon a war here. It's starting to you can start to feel it. I don't think there's ever been a time in history in the world that we're about ready to embark upon, and I think it's going to get ugly. Is it Ezekiel's war? I don't know. If it is, it's going to be a third of mankind that's going to be incinerated in that war. I think we're on the thresholds of the new world order. They got to get a few more things in place, I think. One of them is that digital currency I spoke of. They got to have that so they can absolutely control the masses. We seen kind of a test run with the thing in 2020 with the cold. They pretty much got the whole world covered, and they know they got the kind of control that they need. Now they just need to be able to control the ways and means that you spend your money and how you make it. And that's going to go right in the lines with the Bible, where it talks about, though you can't buy nor sell without having the mark. And I think God is, God has had us in this situation to where you can't be a lukewarm Christian anymore. You're either going to serve that system or you're going to serve him. There's going to be no more Laodicea type people where you're just going to be lukewarm. You're either going to serve that or serve him. And I would totally recommend you serve him, even if it means that you feel like you're scared you're going to lose everything you got. Because I'm going to tell you, you serve that system, you're going to lose everything you got. It's only temporary. Remember, Satan only knows he has but a short time. The Bible says, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth. This is Revelations 12:12. And, it says that, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth, for Satan has been cast down amongst you, having, knowing he has but a short time, and he has great wrath. So he's coming after the believers. I think that's where we're getting ready to go into this 7 years and then embark upon the 3.5 year tribulation. It's all being set up right now, guys. The kings of the east, China and them, they could man a 200 million man army as it's prophesied. The dam in Turkey could be shut. They shut the water off to the Euphrates. The river Euphrates could dry up if they wanted to do so. The things are coming to pass. And I know a lot of people say, well, every generation could have said that. Well, they couldn't have said everything. Boy, it's getting close now. Look around. Jesus said, watch therefore. Well, you will know that summer is nigh because you'll start to see the leaves on the trees and stuff, and you'll know that it's coming and that it is at hand. And I'm afraid to tell people, as you can watch one of my videos on the wheats and the tares, you're not going to be zippity-doo-dah out of there. I do not believe that. I have yet to see a scripture that says he comes before the tribulation. We are going to go through it if we are alive. So we need to be prayed up. We need to be fasting, and we need to be into the Word of God. We need to know that Word of God, and we need to be prepared to be those people in those days to try to take it to the people and to try to win as many souls as we can during the tribulation. But as usual, at the end of the show here, we always like to take a look at the US Day debt clock. Let me get me off of here, and let's take a look at it up close. And let me pull it up here. And there it is. All for our gazing eyes to see. Take a look at that. Just a few days ago, it was $35.6 trillion. It is now 35.7. That is 35.7 trillion with a T dollars. That comes out to $105,000 per citizen. That would include your kids, and $271,000 per taxpayer. Unbelievable. And it just goes tick, 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 tick. That is, guys, that's going up $10,000 probably every quarter of a second. I mean, that's racetrack numbers. I mean, let's look at some of the other stuff we got here. Let's see here. Total personal debt. That includes me or you and the things that we owe. The United States, the citizens of the United States owes $25.6 trillion, again, with a T, in personal debt. Homes, car loans, and credit cards. You want to know what the credit cards are? It's at $1.3 trillion. Credit card usage has gone way up since after the 2020 incident. At that time, they were giving that money out. Credit card usage went down, but it's back at an all-time high. Why? Because people want to eat. And because of inflation and everything, they're having to use their credit cards to pay their bills and to get food. That is an important number to keep an eye on when you're wanting to know what the status of the country is. That is not good. That's $8,500 of debt per a person that actually has credit cards. Look at the student loan debt, $1.7 trillion or $39,000 per student. Where's that debt forgiveness they wanted? You know, one thing I never did understand about social programs and stuff, and talking about, you know, not communism, but socialism. I never understood why people like me who work for a living and there's never a program for me. I'm like Boxer the horse in Animal Farm, you know. After my usage is up, they're just going to send me off to the glue farm. But you know, there's nothing there for people like me. You have to be people that are, you know, that they need to get their votes from, and they issue these social programs, and they end up trying to, like they're trying to do with forgiving the student loan debts. But that's a lot of money to forgive if we were to do it all at once. 1.7 trillion. All right, let's kick on over here. This was one of my part of my favorites. Is a lot of people with this Social Security liability. Again, people tell me, Grandma being one of them, that yeah, they borrowed against Social Security all those years. No, Grandma, that is a Ponzi scheme. There was never enough money. There's no way in the world you worked your whole life to be able to put enough money in to sustain yourself for 20, 30 years after retirement to be able to take care of yourself and get that check every month. So where did they get the money from to pay all these things? Well, they printed it. And you could see it right here in front of you. $27 trillion owed to Social Security liability. Medicare liability. If Grandma or Grandpa blows a knee out and they need to have a knee repaired, do you think they paid enough money in all their years for to pay for their Medicare costs later on in life? No. It's at $41.8 trillion. The total U.S. unfunded liabilities in this country is sitting at a whopping $220 trillion. Tell me that we're in a good shape. Tell me that this economy is strong. Tell me where you think we're really at. The numbers don't lie. And this is real time. Look at that. Liability for all this per citizen. That includes your kids. $650,000 per person. Medicaid recipients are at 89 million. Medicare enrollees, 65 million. Look at the U.S. Look at the FIMPs. 27 million are living without insurance. 122,000 U.S. foreclosures this year, and 347,000 U.S. bankruptcies this year. All this year. We're doing great, right? We're doing great. We're in sad shape. Look at here again. The U.S. debt to GDP ratio, 137.59%. That is awful. Awful. Look at what the U.S. federal debt to GDP ratio is. In 1960, it was 52%. 1980, 34%. It went down. We were producing more and then owing. I mean, 34%. 2000 went up to 55, and it's now 124%. That is U.S. federal debt to GDP ratio. Let that sink in for y'all, you people out there. We're not in good shape. I don't care what anybody tells you. We are in bad shape. And I think that's what they want to do. I think they've done a really good job by destroying the dollar. I think they really want us into the New World Order. It would be hard to try to break American sovereignty by just, trying to get you to get on board with it. Like, hey, let's all be a part of one world. Most Christians would be like, no way. But what if they rip the spoon out of your mouth? What if you don't get the spoon of food that you want? Or what then? You know, and that spoon might be your cars, that spoon might be your home, that spoon might be whatever it might be. What if they try to tell you that we're going to take this from you, or you, not unless you join the system? And if you don't join the system, you don't get it. How many people out there that would say they wouldn't do it, but there is a chance? You know, we need to be, like I said, we need to be prayed up. We need to be, we need to get into the Word of God. I think the times ahead of us are going to be a very dark and cloudy day, and we're getting ready to embark in a lot of this, and that's why we're doing the End Times Report, to show you how nutty this world's getting, how a lot of this stuff is just seems like it's going off the edge, and we need to be awake to it. That's what this show's for. That's what we want to do here at Beyond or Behind the Veil. Please like, subscribe, comment on the videos. Every bit of it helps. We do appreciate everything that you all do for us by doing these things. We're growing. We're up to, I think, 240 some subs. It's a good feeling that we only started this a month ago. I thought it was something I could do to talk about conspiracy theories, talk about things like this that's going on in our current events, and especially to talk about our religious beliefs and what the truth of the Bible is. So once again, share this with your friends, like, subscribe, comment. We do appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you later. May God bless you, and we will catch you all on the flip side. Good day.